The universe ends in silence. Not in fire, not in screams, just silence. A cosmic titan kneels beside the shattered remains of a world he once swore to protect, staring at the ashes slipping through his fingers. This was not supposed to happen. Not in this timeline. Not with him on the side of Earth's mightiest heroes. But fate doesn't bargain, even with Thanos. And as the Avengers watch the sky crack open above them, they realize too late that their greatest ally may also be their final hope or their greatest mistake. In a timeline diverged by a single act of mercy, the mad titan never set foot on the path of conquest. It begins on a forgotten world, decades before he would ever hear the name Avenger. Titan is dying, its core destabilizing, its population divided and desperate. But instead of proposing the infamous plan that would one day make him a pariah to his own people, Thanos hesitates. He sees the fear in their faces, the same fear he carries within himself, and for the first time in his life, he chooses to save rather than to judge. His solution is radical, but not monstrous, harnessing the Infinity Stones not to eradicate life, but to stabilize it. He spends years seeking knowledge, humility slowly replacing arrogance as he witnesses civilizations thriving without violence, leaders protecting instead of conquering. When Titan collapses, despite all his efforts, Thanos is not feared, he is mourned. For he alone stands among the ruins, vowing to ensure no world suffers the fate his people couldn't escape. This vow carries him across the stars, hunting the ancient whispers of the Infinity Stonestools he now believes can prevent universal catastrophe. Yet rumors of a Titan seeking cosmic artifacts attract the attention of someone on Earth. Tony Stark watches intercepted footage of a towering figure lifting a Kree warship fragment from a burning colony and guiding survivors to safety. There's no violence, no threat, just impossible strength and unexpected compassion. S.H.I.E.L.D. detects the same trail but responds with suspicion. Nick Fury deploys a small response team led by Natasha Romanoff to intercept the Titan as he approaches Earth's orbit. When Thanos arrives, it is not to conquer but to warn. He senses instability spreading across the universe. A ripple he believes originates from Earth's tangle with the Tesseract. The encounter begins with guns drawn. Thanos' ship touches down in a crater of dust and wind, his massive frame emerging like a shadow carved from stone. Romanoff shouts, "Orders!" Barton keeps an arrow trained on him. Yet the Titan kneels, placing a glowing orb that powers stone gently on the ground. He offers it to them. For safekeeping, he says in a voice that rumbles like distant thunder, "The universe trembles. I cannot protect it alone." It's this moment that fractures the skepticism in Tony's mind. When the Avengers' still and unstable, uneasy alliance gather around the debriefing table, Stark argues not for containment, but cooperation. The world government balks. Fury hesitates. Captain America listens carefully. It's Steve who ultimately steps forward first. He meets Thanos under the helicarrier's harsh lights, studying him not as a monster, but as a soldier who has seen too many worlds fall. "What do you want from us?" Steve asks. "A chance," Thanos replies. "A chance to defend the universe before it collapses. It is the beginning of an alliance no timeline ever expected, and the start of a race against an enemy none of them have yet sensed, an enemy watching, waiting, and preparing to strike the moment." Thanos chooses the side of Earth. The alliance begins with tension thick enough to fracture steel. Earth's governments push back hard, demanding containment protocols, oversight, insurance against betrayal. But Thanos refuses to be caged. Instead, he offers something unexpected: his knowledge, secrets of cosmic energies, star-forged armor, and the ancient origins of the Infinity Stones, information no Earth archive has ever touched. Tony Stark absorbs every word like oxygen, his mind firing faster than ever as he sketches new armor concepts incorporating alien physics. Bruce Banner listens with equal parts fascination and unease. The idea of harnessing power on this scale terrifies him. Yet trust is built not in conference rooms, but on the battlefield. It happens over New York, months before Loki's Chitauri invasion would occur in the original timeline. A rogue Leviathan-class creature pierces a dimensional tear, slamming into Earth's atmosphere with enough force to splinter skyscrapers. Thanos recognizes it instantly, creature bred for war in a realm few living beings dare enter. Without hesitation, he leaps into the sky, his footfalls shaking the ground as he rockets upward. For a moment, the Avengers watch, stunned. As the Titan collides with the monster in midair, redirecting its descent away from the city, Tony follows immediately, armor roaring. Thor, drawn by the creature's energy signature, arrives through a crack of thunder. The three unlikely allies, good man-Titan, share a silent nod before charging the beast together. Thanos punches through its carapace. Thor drives lightning into its spine. Tony fires a reactor beam straight down its throat. The creature collapses in a molten heap on the outskirts of Manhattan, and the world sees it live. From that day forward, Thanos is no longer a suspected invader or cosmic threat. He is the newest Avenger, an idea that divides the planet, inspires millions, and terrifies forces lurking beyond the veil of space. Loki learns of this change when he approaches the other, demanding his Chitauri army. But the other does not smile. He trembles. The Titan has defected, the other whispers. The balance shifts. Our master is displeased. And in the dark reaches of infinity, a voice as cold as the void itself speaks a single command: accelerate. Thanos feels the shift long before Earth does. Energy patterns ripple through the cosmos, warnings echoing inside him like distant thunder. He convenes the Avengers in a hidden chamber below Avengers Tower, projecting star maps in violet light. He points to fractures appearing across the galactic network, warnings he hoped he'd never see again. There is a force coming, he says quietly, one that bends entire civilizations to his will. I once knew him. I once feared him. Steve steps forward. Who is he? Thanos' eyes grow dim. The one who seeks the stones not for balance, but for domination. For the first time, the Avengers witness something they never imagined: fear in the eyes of Thanos. And somewhere, at the edge of the known universe, the true architect of fate sharpens his gaze upon Earth, ready to reclaim what was once destined to be his alone. The storm arrives without warning. Rifts tear open across the night sky, each one pulsing with an unnatural golden glow. New York's lights flicker, birds scatter. A low hum vibrates through the foundations of the city, like the heartbeat of something ancient awakening. Tony is the first to detect the energy surge, an identical signature to the Tesseract, but amplified, corrupted, weaponized. Thanos stands on the balcony of Avengers Tower, staring into the shimmering wound in the sky. He knows the cadence of that energy. He knows its owner. The past he tried to bury has returned to claim him. Loki emerges first, stepping through the portal with a calculated smile, staff spinning in his hand. But behind him is something far more dangerous. Chitauri warship, larger than any in the original timeline, bristling with twice the firepower. The invasion has begun early, and with a magnitude designed for one purpose: to crush the Avenger who should have been Thanos' greatest general. The team mobilizes instantly. Natasha coordinates evacuations. Hawkeye takes the rooftops. Thor confronts his brother in the sky, their clash spiraling into a storm of lightning and shattered steel. Tony dives into the swarm of alien fighters, suit blazing with newly integrated cosmic enhancements, technology inspired by the Titan now fighting beside them. But the battle shifts when Thanos enters the fray. He moves like a force of nature, ripping Chitauri sleds from the air, breaking open leviathans with bare hands. Yet for every creature he crushes, 3 more slip through the portal. The air grows thick with smoke and static. Buildings crumble. The city trembles. Then the warship's cannons ignite. A blinding beam surges downward, so massive it cuts across the skyline like a blade of white fire. Tony shouts warnings over the comms. Thor calls lightning to intercept it. But the blast is too large. Too fast. The Avengers have only seconds before it devours half of Manhattan. Thanos plants his feet and raises his arms. Energy slams into him like the wrath of a dying star. The pavement fractures under his weight. Skyscraper windows burst outward from the shockwave. His armor glows red-hot, plates melting. For a moment, it seems he might survive, until he drops to one knee, roaring in pain. Tony rockets toward him, shouting for backup. Steve runs through falling debris, shield raised. Bruce, trembling, gives in to the monster he fears, unleashing the Hulk in a deafening roar. But even all of them together can't hold back the blast. At the last second, Thanos channels the Power Stone, shielding the Avengers as the energy collapses around them. When the light fades, the street is scorched to black glass and Thanos lies motionless at its center, smoke rising from his body. The warship pauses, hovering ominously. Loki stares down with sudden uncertainty. Something about this wasn't supposed to happen. Then a voice echoes from the portal, cold enough to freeze bone. "You disappoint me, Loki?" The Chitauri kneel. Loki stiffens. The Avengers look up as a figure steps through the rift, a towering silhouette crowned in black and gold, holding a double-bladed weapon that shimmers with cosmic hunger. The true master reveals himself, the alternate Thanos, the conqueror from the original timeline, the one who never chose mercy, a Thanos who did not break, a Thanos who did not bend, a Thanos who did not join the Avengers. And his gaze falls directly on the injured Titan below him. "You," the conqueror growls. "You turned your back on destiny." The Avengers encircled their fallen ally, battered, breathless, and outmatched. But Steve plants his shield into the cracked ground and stares up at the cosmic tyrant. "Then destiny," Steve shouts. "Picked the wrong side." The conqueror smiles. "The true battle is only beginning." The two Thanoses lock, eyes one scarred by loss, the other carved by conquest. The air between them crackles, not with power, but with the immovable collision of two opposing destinies. The Avengers tighten their formation around the fallen Titan. Hulk snarls, ready to leap. Thor raises Mjolnir, lightning swirling in violent arcs. Tony hovers above, repulsors primed, heart pounding against cracked armor. The conqueror descends from the portal with a single step, the ground trembling as he lands. His double-bladed weapon hums with an icy violet glow. Loki slips behind him, unsure where to stand, his allegiance suddenly fragile. He would protect them. The conqueror sneers at his variant. He would kneel beside the weak. He would forsake balance. The fallen Thanos pushes up from the ground, staggering but unbroken. "Balance is not slaughter," he says, voice hoarse. "Balance is sacrifice, something you have never understood." The conqueror doesn't hesitate. He launches forward, weapon raised. Steve moves first, intercepting the strike with his shield. The blow sends him flying through a bus. Hulk charges next, only to be caught mid-leap and hurled into a collapsing building. Thor's lightning strikes the conqueror in a blinding blast, but the tyrant simply absorbs it, grinning as he deflects the god of thunder with a spinning arc of his blade. Tony dives from above, firing everything his suit has. Missiles detonate in rapid succession, engulfing the conqueror in a storm of fire, yet the tyrant bursts from the flames untouched, seizing Tony by the throat midair. He tightens his grip, armor groaning. "You are nothing without your armor," he growls. A massive hand clamps around the conqueror's wrist. "You are wrong," the redeemed Thanos rumbles. He is not alone. He hurls his counterpart across the ruined street. The conqueror crashes into a tower, cracking its foundation. The Avengers regroup around their Titan ally, battered but determined. For the first time, they stand not with fear of Thanos, but faith in him. The conqueror, Rez's wrath igniting in his eyes. "So be it. I will end your failure myself." He rushes them and the final battle begins. The fight is chaos incarnate. Two Thanoses exchanging blows so violent the shockwaves crack windows across the city. Thor and Hulk tearing through Chitauri reinforcements that flood through the widening portal. Tony, bruised and breathless, rerouting every reserve of power into a focused arc beam. Steve wading through rubble, refusing to stay down, refusing to let the city repeat Titan's fate. At the height of the battle, the conqueror seizes the upper hand. He pins the redeemed Thanos to the ground, blade pressed against his throat. "He could have ruled," he snarls. "He could have been a god." The Titan closes his eyes. A god saves, a tyrant destroys. The conqueror raises his blade to finish the job, and Tony fires a concentrated beam straight into the power stone embedded in the conqueror's armor. The overload detonates in a violent eruption of violet light. The conqueror staggers, armor splintering, the power stone cracking. The redeemed Thanos seizes the moment, grabbing his counterpart by the chest and slamming him into the ground with a roar that echoes through the city. The cracked power stone explodes in a backlash of raw energy that engulfs the conqueror, consuming him in a blinding burst. When the light fades, nothing remains but fractured stone and drifting ash. The portal collapses. The Chitauri fall. Loki retreats into the shadows, defeated and silent. And New York breathes again. Silence settles over the ruined streets. The Avengers gather around their Titan, who drops to one knee, exhausted. Steve places a steady hand on his shoulder. Thor rests his hammer against the ground beside him. Tony removes his helmet, face streaked with sweat and soot. "You okay, big guy?" Tony asks. Thanos looks up at them, these fragile humans who fought beside him, believed in him, nearly died for him. "I am grateful," he says quietly. In that moment, the Avengers are no longer just a team or a symbol. They are a family forged in fire, rebuilt through trust, and expanded by the most unlikely ally the universe could have offered. History will never record this battle in the same way. It will not speak of fear or invasion, or the mad Titan who once threatened half of all life. Instead, it will tell the story of a warrior who looked into the void of his own future, and chose to become something better, a protector instead of a destroyer, an avenger instead of a tyrant. What if Thanos was an avenger? In this timeline, he doesn't just save the universe, he redeems it.